to start another project today. In some of my previous videos we buried this cistern, got it all plumbed up, and after using it for about 6 or 8 months I've decided that probably wasn't the best course of action for me to take. So we're still going to use that same cistern, but we're going to dig over here where I've got a boatload of water running out of the ground. Let me show you. That's where the cistern currently sits, and coming off the bank right here is an additional very large body of water. This guy right here. Now, I'm not utilizing this water at all. It's just running out of the mountain and going into the creek. So if I move my cistern into this area, dig a large hole, 8-10 feet deep, fill the bottom up with about 10 or 12 ton of washed stone, cut the bottom out of my cistern and set it on top of that pile of gravel, all this water, what we're currently capturing and this stuff right here, is going to flow down in the gravel bed because water takes the path of least resistance, and then fill up my cistern. Currently, we've got this water running down, and we're capturing it there below those leaves. Let me clear those things out so you can see what's going on there again. Part of the problem is this. I have to come in here, clean this stuff out pretty frequently, especially after a large rain event, because it just fills up the leaves, and then I have reduced water flow. There's my first one. And my second one's in there too. But that's our current system. We're capturing the water there. It's going down to the cistern. And then we drink it. Water level's pretty low right now. And we just got done with a bunch of rain. So I'm not getting the circulation through my cistern that I want to. So we're going to move our cistern to a different spot and capture this next spring. That gravel bed is also going to act as an additional filtration system. So I won't have the problem of leaves and sediment and debris filling up or obscuring my intake pipes. Because all this water here will flow into the ground, through the gravel bed, and then up into the cistern, and then I can harvest it, drink it. That's our new plan. We'll see what kind of obstacles we encounter digging this stuff. Some pretty good rocks we pulled out of this dirt, so we'll see how it goes. So this thing is henceforth going to be called the spring box. Well, let me take that back. Whenever we cut the bottom out of it, it'll be the spring box. But another advantage to moving this completely underground and allowing water to run into it through the gravel bed is going to be, I can lose all this pipe and it won't freeze, and it'll be easier to maintain because I'll just have less stuff exposed. The only pipe coming out will be the suction pipe from my pump. It's going to be a little tight in here working. That's all the room I've got to work. So it'll be a little tight. Try not to throw a track or anything like that, or bump our cistern. That'd be pretty bad. Well, we just lost a bucket tooth. Broke it off on the bottom. Ain't that something? Well, but I want you to look at the water coming in. So that's coming in off what we're capturing. That's water that we were not capturing. So we're going to fill the bottom of this thing up with gravel. Put about 10 ton of stone in here. Cut the bottom off our cistern. Set it on top of that stone. That water's going to rise up into it. So while our hole is rapidly filling up with water, I'm going to put a new tooth on. These shanks are pretty wore out, so they don't hold a tooth very well. But that's why I keep extras on hand. It's pretty simple to replace. You got a rubber sleeve inside here, inside this hole, that this pin fits down in, and that's all that really holds the tooth on. There's not much to it. It works pretty well most of the time. Every now and then you get some ornery ones that don't like to do right. Keep popping off. Put this one on. Hopefully it'll last us for a while. This little rubber keeper is inside there, and it's got some rolled edges. And that has rolled edges, and that's how you drive them in there. And then that keeps the tooth on the shank. But this one's no good. I got some more. Run and get them. Old one, new one. I had welded those shanks up before because they were worn and sloppy. These are a different style of teeth, so the inside of them doesn't fit on the shank very well. That's why I'm having to massage this thing. That looks much better. Felt better anyway. There we go, new tooth, no wobble. We get back to digging. Okay, our hole's all dug, and I think we're ready to dump some gravel in the bottom of that thing. Let's go load up the truck. Try not to get stuck. Let's see if we can make it through here without getting stuck. We're gonna put her in four-wheel drive. We're gonna get a run and go here. Like Chuck. That's the problem with the dually. Little excavator to the rescue. This reminds me of a story I read my little boy. Basically, it's the story of the little excavator that could. Kind of like the little train that could. This is the little excavator that could. There she comes. And just like that. I didn't think my dump site over very well, so I've got a lot of gravel here wasting that I've got to get over there in my pit. So shovel time it is. Well, the gravel bed's done. So we'll cut the bottom out of our cistern, set it on top of there. Find some really good dirt, seal it up on this downstream side of the gravel, and then seal all around the top of the gravel there, in between the cistern and the banks. That way water's forced to flow up into it. We're back at it this morning. Gonna pull the cistern up, set it over there on that gravel bed, capture the water that way. Hopefully we get everything done today, because if we don't, then I'll be without water tonight. And today is Christmas Eve. I'd rather have water, so I'll take me a shower tonight. So we'll see how it goes today. Should be just fine though. For those of you that don't remember, this was the intake originally to capture my water and dump it in the cistern. It worked pretty well, but every time it rained or something like that, I had to go up there and clean it out because leaves and mud and stuff like that would get in the way. But with our new method, there won't be an intake pipe to get trapped up. Alright, we got our dewatering pump all set up. Let's get rolling. We got flow. Out goes my water. Good, clean, liquid gold. That's better. We had a lice trapped in the line. Now she'll suck her down real quick. Yeah. It's always fun to dewater stuff. Now she's all empty. About time to rip her out. Now that we got the water pumped out of that thing, we're able to pick it up out of the ground, because it was pretty heavy, full of water. You figure it holds roughly 500 gallons of water. Water's 8 gallons a pound-ish. So you carry the one, add 3, you're looking at roughly 4,000 pounds of water inside that thing. No way my little machine could pick that up. So we had to pump it out. Now that we got it all pumped out, get that thing out of the ground, saw the bottom of it off, and get ready to set it on top of that gravel bed. Again, we're cutting the bottom of it off so that the water flows down into the gravel bed and then up through the gravel as filtration system and additional storage, and then up into the cistern where we'll harvest it. A little spoiler alert here for future videos. The bottom of that cistern makes a pretty good sled pulled behind you side by side. But now that we've got that thing in place, we'll hook up the overflow, go ahead and hook up my suction line from my pump, and bury the power line with it, and we'll be ready to roll. Got it made up. We'll lay our power line down. Going to move the pump up here eventually. Backfill it. We're done. If you ever need to bury wire underground and you don't have the appropriate waterproof connecting box, you can make you one. Drill a hole in some PVC. Use your waterproof wing nuts. Fill it slap full of dielectric grease. Run your wire through the cap right here. That way all your connectors are inside the PVC. And then apply generous amounts of Lexel where the wire runs in there. And you got a waterproof box that you can bury in the ground. And just like that, Get a waterproof box for your electrical connections.
We are done. Got the plumbing hooked up, the electrical run for whenever we move the pump up here. Whenever we start working on the cabin, living in the cabin, we already have electricity to run up here to the cistern. Got everything backfilled. Got some rocks down on the spillway. And that thing looks like it's going to work really, really well.
We finished up our cistern move yesterday. Everything looks pretty good right now. Although, so we didn't tap in to this stream on the right hand side. We put a bunch of gravel down and was going to capture it. But we ran out of dirt and I need another riser to make my cistern a little taller so that we can capture that properly. That may come later on. I don't mind a little babbling brook in the back stream anyway. But our cistern is still running really, really well. We've got almost half a 2-inch pipe running. That's our overflow. And if you look there to the left, right there, we hit a new spring yesterday. And I'm gonna tell you what, that thing's running out like gangbusters too. That's it right there. Water's just running out like crazy. That's not quite as big as one we tapped into. I don't know if that's going to be a wet weather spring. I've never seen that before. I assume it's wet weather because we didn't dig much into this bank. So we'll keep an eye on it, see if it dries up this spring, summertime. By moving it like this, I got rid of all the piping that was exposed to the weather so it didn't freeze. And there's no surface water running in here. So that means any contaminants from groundwater will be non-existent. If a critter dies upstream in the creek, it won't affect our water any at all. It's a much better, more reliable source, and I won't have the algae problem that I had before because the whole thing's buried. Should be a much better source.
I do want to thank all of you for watching. So until next time, be well, my friends.